Hey everyone, sorry about the lighting. It is so bright outside. Um, so I wrote like a written post about this, and I kind of did a little video about this, but I thought I would go into a bit more detail this time. Um, on Thursday, it was last week really. I made the decision, but it kind of came into effect on this Thursday, and that was that I was going to join a new class at the gym, and it wasn't something I just did spontaneously. It was something that I had to, think over. I did have a class that I was in pre-COVID. It was called Legs, Bums, and Tons, and it basically obviously it worked on those main areas, but it was like a full body kind of thing, and you felt it afterwards. You were very achy afterwards, but I think it was worth it because as time went on, you kind of got immune to it hurting as much, and you saw much more improvement because of it. Um, but when COVID hit, the gym closed. And then when the gym did finally open again, they had cancelled all classes. So it was basically just in the gym so that they could disinfect all the equipment and people wouldn't be too close together. It was all spaced out and things like that. And I remember going once or twice, but my confidence was, completely shot by that point, and I didn't really stick it out, and I stayed at home a lot more, which was okay, but obviously, space wise, I did find it very difficult, so I didn't have chance to do that much. So when I started going to the gym again a few weeks ago, I really enjoyed it because there were weight machines, and there was more space to do your exercises, and it really felt like I was making a big change, and I loved it. Um, so I got a timetable when I was leaving that last week, not last week, the week before. I got a timetable, and I signed up to a class called Total Body, and that was a new class. I had no idea what to expect. It was pretty much the only other time that I could, do it. So it was 9:30 in the morning. So I was basically dropping my daughter off at school and then going straight there. And I was so nervous because I didn't know anyone. I live in Chapel on Frith, but I've only recently moved here, so I don't know anyone. Um, so I was really nervous when they did eventually start coming. But everyone was so lovely, and the exercises were so difficult in comparison to the things that I can do at home and things that I do in the gym, because I didn't know that many different things to do. It worked me really hard, and there's one place I felt the most was my legs, my knees and my legs. I remember after the class, I couldn't bend my legs. I literally felt like I was going to fall down the staircase that led out. That was how bad it was. And the next day I woke up and I was in so much pain. It was unbelievable. I couldn't act like I could bend my legs. That feeling was gone. But the pain was so bad. It was basically like I could, but I was walking like a robot, and I basically moved the amount that I had to, and then I would just sit still. And being a mom means not being able to sit still for as long as you would need. So I would be sat down, and it's like, could you get, my daughter wanted a snack. My daughter wanted a piece of paper so she could do a colouring. My my daughter wanted a book. She wanted something on TV. So I was constantly up and down, And then at night, I was up and downstairs getting things that I would need in the room. So it was like I was constantly on the move, even when I didn't want to be. I spent that first day kind of sat down because she was at school. It was 9:30 till 10:15, so it was a bit easier to. And I went to see my fiance, and he lives in Glossop, so there was I took a taxi down, and then he has a daughter that he takes to school, and it's about half an hour away, so he had to walk, that far. And he has stairs, so it's up and down stairs, and this you take for granted how much you have to move about in a day. So I really noticed it. But one thing I did notice as well, so it was on Thursday I did the exercises. It was Friday when it was at its worst, but by Sunday it it was still there. It still hurt, but it improved quite a bit. So I think something I realised, which is very important, and I think you do realise anyway, and it's like a automatic thing, so you might not always think about it, but it's there in your mind, is how important it is to keep yourself moving, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it hurts a little bit, even if there's a bit of pain involved. It would be that much worse if you just sat in one place the entire time thinking, I can't move, it hurts too much, so I'm just going to stay here, I'm just going to wait for it to get better. It would never get better, and there would be complications from just sitting still all the time. So I feel like the more that you do, it's like easing knots that have been put there, and then you can always do things afterwards, like you can self massage your own legs. You can use oils that target pain. There are bath salts that you can use if you check your allergies. Obviously, the bath salts that help against muscle aches. There are certain besides bath oils, or you can get shower gels that target things like that. You can also, ask herbal shops, and they have a great amount of things that help with that. But the movement side of it is so much better to concentrate on than just sitting there and hoping that it would feel better, because if you just sit there, your body's going to get so used to not moving that when it finally does move, all that pain's just going to come straight back again. But if you're moving, your body's getting used to stretching and moving about and easing and things like that. So it's kind of like two steps forward, one step back. Go the wrong way around. One step forward, two steps back. It's like you will always feel like a bit worse when you're trying to make yourself feel better, but it's so worth it, and it's so far outweighs just leaving it and hoping that it will get better. So I just wanted to make a bit more of a detailed video, because that is something I think that benefits everybody, to be able to take care of yourself to such a point where you're not just sitting down and hoping things will get better. You're actually going out there and doing things, and that worked so well for me. And even though the pain is still there, it's so much better. It's like I can walk up and down stairs and forget about it at the moment. Even though it is still there, I have put myself in to do the exact same thing next week. This week, and I'm hoping to do it every week thereafter, because the more I do it, I feel like the more my muscles will get used to being moved about to that extent, and it's like it outweighs the drawbacks. Kind of, there's more pros than cons to it. So yeah, if you want to exercise, just having a way to self-soothe pain but always keep yourself moving and keep yourself using a muscle that may be a bit weaker and exercise it so it's a bit stronger, and it will definitely, you'll feel a big difference. And that kind of brings me to the last thing I wanted to say. Um, I've kind of set myself a bit of a challenge because we have a car and we haven't been able to use it. Um, which means, like, luckily there's a shop basically around the corner, so we can just walk there, get what we need. As long as it's not like loads of stuff, we can walk it back. It's no problem. Um, After my illness, my upper body strength was kind of shot. It was really bad. Um, and one thing that's come from that is it doesn't matter if I'm carrying something heavy or light, if it's uneven, um, it causes me a lot of problems with my arms, and they will shake and tremble like crazy. So, one thing I would like to get out of going to the gym is being able to carry a bit more, to have that little bit more upper body strength so that that won't be a problem, because that will help in cooking, in carrying things, multitasking, because that's a big part of being a parent too. Multitasking, because your child's gonna want like five things at once. So that's something I'm kind of setting myself as a goal. So I am very excited to see how it goes.